I came out here to this park in kind of the middle of Cucuta. It's an absolutely beautiful place, and there are lots and lots of kids here. Some are teenagers that are doing some kind of sports. There are kids back behind me that are just playing on the playground. There's some people doing yoga or something over there. And it's just a really nice afternoon out here. But if you're listening to the podcast, I just wanted to explain all that so you'd know what all those background sounds were. You're going to hear people screaming and things like that. That's all these kids that are doing their games and stuff. Anyway, it's been a pretty amazing day, and not necessarily in a good way for me here on the border. So I'll just go back and tell you the whole story. I met up with some leaders from Operation Blessing. That's CBN's philanthropic arm, which is sending people down here to basically do an assessment and try to figure out how they can help and what the needs are and that sort of thing. So since I was here 2 weeks ago, I came along to kind of show them around a little bit and just help as well, do some more reporting. So we had some meetings this morning, and then we went down to the border. And I have to say, it's amazing how much the border has changed. When I was here before, there were thousands of people crossing the bridge from the other side in Venezuela, coming across, buying things, and then carting all their things back home to Venezuela. Well, now the bridge that they were crossing is closed completely. Apparently it has been since the weekend when Maduro burned all of the aid that the United States tried to ship into Venezuela to support the interim president Juan Guaido. So the bridge is closed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are not coming and going. They're just now coming and going illegally on across the river, and doing so within sight of the police and the military that are all lined up along the border. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So here's a little bit of what that looks like. Now, as I was going down there and doing that reporting, trying to get my stand-ups taken care of, I decided to try to get a better angle on that bridge. And so I stepped out onto the riverbank and with all those people around, middle of the daytime, and started to do my stand-up again. And that's when things kind of went terribly wrong. Take a look. So when I was here 2 weeks ago, that bridge back behind me had like 10 or 20,000 people on it. I mean, it was absolutely packed. Now it's empty, but people are not. Come on, man. Come on, man. You got problems? Come on, ma'am.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. So what happened there was, as I was doing the stand-up, these three guys were kind of circling, and I really wasn't paying attention. I kind of got complacent. And one of them walked up and grabbed my arm. I thought at first I thought he was kind of messing around, because he wasn't doing it like he was trying to steal my camera, which I had in that hand. He just kind of grabbed my arm almost like we were buddies or something. And then he kind of pivoted. You see on the video that he put his shoulder under my shoulder, and he almost tried to like lift me up. And he started calling to his friends and saying, come on, let's go. So that's when I realized this guy's actually trying to take me into Venezuela. He's trying to kidnap me. And that's when I realized it's go time. And so just as the camera shut off there, I had some kind of problem with the SD card, just my luck. You can still hear on the audio that there's a big struggle happening. Well, that was me bashing the guy in the face with this camera I'm recording on right now, a GoPro Hero 6, using my selfie stick ninja skills, I guess. And I just whacked him with it. He let go of me. And then there was another guy, one of his buddies, coming for me. I kind of straight armed that guy, and I took off at a dead run to get out of there. Well, I almost made it to the little footbridge, and I tripped, fell down in the rocks, skinned my knees a little bit, broke my camera, and as I was getting back up, those guys caught up with me and grabbed me by the belt and started trying to pull me back into Venezuela. Well, I just turned around and backhanded the snot out of that same guy that I'd hit with the camera the first time, and he let go of me again, and right at that point, one of the Operation Blessing guys came charging across and scared him away. So that's exactly what happened. Surprisingly, I wasn't really all that shook up about it at the time. I just thought, man, that was close. Those guys were trying to rob me or something. Well, then a lady kind of came over and she said, you know, I thought about telling you not to go out there on that riverbank because those guys over there belong to the colectivos. And if you don't know what the colectivos are, they are biker gangs that have been hired by Maduro. They're loyal to Nicolás Maduro to sort of enforce his dirty work, to enforce his will on the people. And he arms them, he gives them kind of free rein. And some of the stories I've heard from Venezuelans about the colectivos is that they're very, very brutal. They rob, rape, even kill, kind of at will. And they told me, that lady told me later there, that those guys had been standing on the riverbank and had been charging people to come past them, charging people to come back into Venezuela based on whatever they were carrying. And when they saw me, they thought, oh, hey, you know, here's a gringo. You can imagine what the reward would be for them if they were to capture me, take me into Venezuela, and turn me into the police or the Guardia or whatever in there as an American spy. You know, oh, this guy was taking pictures of the border, you know, that kind of thing. And the more I think about it, the more I've gone back and I've watched the footage over again and the footage that I took before that. I can see those guys across the border and I can see what they're doing on the footage that I was just filming, not knowing what I was looking at. And I realized that's probably the case. I think they were literally trying to kidnap me and take me into Venezuela. I'm trying not to be, you know, I'm trying not to exaggerate this. It'd be easy to really kind of, you know, make this into a bigger thing than it is. It could be that they were just some punks and they thought they would, you know, try to rob me or whatever. But again, they weren't trying to hurt me. They weren't violent with me when they first approached me. They came and grabbed me and started pulling me into Venezuela. They didn't grab my camera right away. They weren't trying to, you know, snatch and run or anything. They were trying to take me personally into Venezuela. And when I listened to what they were saying on camera, you can hear them saying, come on, let's go. Come on, you're coming with us. And so that's pretty concerning. Obviously, taking people, kidnapping people right there on the border and taking them into Venezuela is kind of portends a real danger for other journalists that could go down there. And so I've talked to some friends at the embassy and they're encouraging me to, you know, report this to the embassy here in Colombia, to the regional security officer and all that. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but I mean, what do you report? Hey, there's an American idiot journalist that's going right up to the border and with a $2,000 camera, you know, I mean, look, this is my fault. I got complacent. I had people with me. I didn't listen to that voice in my head that said, you probably shouldn't go down there on that riverbank. There was just something in the back of my brain that was saying that. And I was like, oh, these people are fine. Because most Venezuelans are so nice. And even in this, like last night when I was down there, they were so, you could tell they're so desperate. They have become very much more desperate since the last time I was here, significantly so, because they are hungry and they are hurting and they're sleeping on the ground. And so anyway, I was not paying attention to the people around me, and you know, I opened the door for that to happen. Can guarantee that's not going to happen again. One other thing that I noticed is that all three of those guys who attacked me were smoking cigarettes, and they were the only people smoking cigarettes that I saw down there, and probably the only people who could afford to smoke cigarettes because, again, they're part of that colectivo and they're favored by Maduro. So anyway, that's just something interesting to note about that.